What's going on, YouTube? Got a lot of cars to look at, and mailman, and I had some local finds as well. So we'll get right into it. I'm also excited. We're going to share with everyone new to the collection, a brand that I've seen come out for the past few years, I guess, since it's been on my radar anyway. And this is Mini GT, and I got these in 1/64 scale. I believe Mini GT does 1/43 as well as maybe some other scales, but definitely the 1/64. So we're going to look at those, and they're pretty cool. And we got a Supra and an E30 M3, so one of my favorite BMWs. I got it 1/64 scale. It's the only E30 I got at all in my whole collection of all diecast. So we're starting to branch out. Most of my concentration is on North American vehicles, but I do like Mercedes. I do like BMW cars, certain ones. So we're definitely going to take a look at those as well. Very excited. Got Auto World, got Greenlight, and then I think I got a Johnny Lightning too to share. So we'll take a look at those. I think we'll do a video next time. I got a couple of Hot Wheels and Matchbox premium vehicles as well. So that'll be coming up next time. So what's first on the docket? Well, let's go to a casting that's been out for a while. And Auto World car. Now this is a vehicle that I kind of stayed away from, but I saw it in the right colors, and it's like Stephen King's Christine Fury, but without the licensing. It's just they did the color scheme. So the car looked really good. I like the color scheme. Kind of the colors they have been doing was kind of funny greens, or I think there was a white one and a gold one, things like that. I like this. It's a white with white top, two-tone interior, red car. It's one of 5,500. So let's take a look here real quick. So, and of course we're not having the box anymore, unfortunately. And then this, I found it on the pegs. I was beaten to the trucks. I'm gonna get the trucks in the mail. So the Wrangler and the two Chevys, I'm gonna get one from this set, the A version, and then the B version of the square bodies, and I'll get the Jeep. But yeah, so let's take a look at this casting. It's a tremendous, of all the premium makers, because Johnny Lightning does one, Greenlight does this casting, but Auto World is exceptional. I mean, the car has no distortion on the body that I can see, anyway. So let's get a little bit of a angle here. So we'll do a wide shot real quick. I've noticed when I was today looking at the pegs, this fender kicks up towards the back. That's a 58 car. They have a lot of them where it kind of continues, and maybe the hood, the roof is too small compared to the body. It's just a lot of distortion. So the Auto World casting does the car justice. There's a lot going on. Chrysler rushed these cars to market. I think 56 or 57 first year for the newer stuff. This car 58, I think 57, 58, they did torsion bar, which was something new for them. They had coil spring front suspension prior to this. So this was a lot of things coming at once. New body technique, construction, new suspension chassis type deal with them. So a lot going on. They did have some quality issues. 58, they had a fuel injection option, just like General Motors had. I think it was a Bendix fuel injection, not Rochester. But this car is a Golden Commando 350 motor, and it's got dual quads on it. So it's got twin 4-barrel carburetors. Really, that's really one of my main focuses is getting Auto World. I do like Greenlight a lot, but Auto World just, I mean, look, you can see the depth of the engine bay. It looks great. They painted the engine the correct color. And there's a lot of detail in the back of the car. And even the relief where the molding is on the taillights, they did all that as well. All right, so we did a little bit of a walk around. Let's take a zoom. You can see the suspension, and there's the torsion bars against the engine there. It seemed like this gauge of axle was thicker than the other Auto World cars that I have. Car rolls exceptionally straight. As you can see, there's no wobble. So, very satisfying model to have. I like them when they're put together with care, and there's not a lot of mistakes, as probably most of you do. I mean, I don't think anybody wants a vehicle that's not completely assembled nicely, especially people that cross over to modeling like I do. Because if you take these cars apart and kind of reassemble them yourself, if you take the time to do it, they actually will come together very good. It's just the assembly line that kind of ruins how the car gets done and finished, unfortunately. Let's tip this down just slightly. Okay. Make sure that we got focus. So we can see Plymouth on the rear deck. Looks like to be California tags. It says Belvedere. Now this spear is all painted silver. It's not chrome, but it gets the job done. You have your scripting there. Let's see if we can get a little bit closer look at that. So Belvedere. This would have been a high option vehicle for 1958. And you can see how the hood opens nicely. And they tampo and paint the grille very nicely. Of course, the car is all metal. There's really no plastic except for the interior. Black dash, and then you have your two-tone seat upholstery. So very nice car. This would have been an automatic. I think they called them torque flights by then. You know, they're Chrysler's automatic. So very, very cool. I think it was push button on the dash too. I don't think they had a shift lever in these cars. Comment below. I kind of researched this a little bit to bring my memory up, but feel free if you have any experience with these cars. So really pretty car, nice red paint. Very excited to have this casting. It's the first Plymouth Auto World that I have, so very excited. All right, let's look at another vehicle. And I forgot to mention this brand at the top of the video. Another Schuco. So I said it, you know, that Volkswagen bus was not going to be my last Schuco. So I saw this. I think this is the second release, or this might have been the first wave of Schuco. Talking about the Land Rover Defender. So really cool looking vehicle. It says limited of 2,400, which makes it fairly exclusive. And it's very surprising. You know, they look kind of plain when the pictures are taken of these cars, because you kind of just see this, you know, on your thumbnail while you're doing your online shopping. And I took the leap on this one because of the fact that Volkswagen van was done so well. So I said, let's go see what this Land Rover does. It's a car that I like a lot. I have a 1/24 scale diecast of this Defender. So, but same type of clamshell that Greenlight and others do. It's all the same. And part of the set, we'll flip it around real quick, was those items there. So take a screenshot of that if you have to. Okay, so let's get this camera set up a little bit better. Really cool looking vehicle. I like silver. It's got a funny, I didn't really even notice this, it's a red interior vehicle, so it's an interesting color combination. We have silver, black roof and wheels, and then we have the red interior. Very, very interesting. You don't see too many of these like that. It is a left-hand drive. I try to get vehicles with left-hand drive, even if they're from different markets, because I prefer it. I really don't like right-hand drive cars. Okay. Deep silver. Let's see if we get out of the light real quick and see if we can pick that metallic up. I'll probably have to do a zoom. What surprised me about this is it has a metal base, and they also mold the mud flaps in metal. So these aren't going to break off anytime soon, which I really like. And the mirrors, they don't stick out a lot, but they're metal too, so they won't break off either. So plastic wheels, tires are rubber. This is painted. Yeah. So that's just painted. That's still metal. The back has really good fidelity as well. So we'll look at that and zoom. But you could see in this wide shot, I mean, the shape of the car is done very nicely. So, really not anything distorted on this. There's a lot of. This is a very popular car for diecast. Of course, all of us that had Matchbox back in the day, this was one of my favorite castings from Matchbox, too. So, I think that was the Defender 90, if I can't remember. I think that was. Okay, zoomed in, we got Land Rover Tampo. We have the clear headlights that look very nice as well. This would have probably been a later one, I think, of this vehicle. So they had clear signals on the later ones. You can see all the molding on the hood is done very good. Deep set window. The casting lines for the door and things like that, they're deep, so you don't lose any of that detail. You can look down the body line. It does have that step that Land Rovers are famous for. These are aluminum. They were kind of known for that, so they used aluminum bodies on these vehicles, which is very cool. Makes them a little bit more expensive, of course. Alright, so this had a sliding window, jump seat. This would have opened up like a barn door style. Very interesting. This looks to be like a European one. It could have been a North American one too, but gas V8s and diesels with stick and automatic. So very interesting little trucks. You can see those mud flaps are molded in the chassis. I love it. They even have the kick out on this one for the exhaust. So you can see they're asymmetrical. And there's our chassis, Schuco. Always been pleased with these so far. This doesn't disappoint. I've had Schuco in larger scales because it's an old school manufacturer. But I'm new to the 164th, and it doesn't disappoint. And they're decent price. They're not crazy money. And I do like that they're metal on metal. So a lot of the higher end stuff will use the plastic base, but Schuco, same with the van. I happen to have it here. A little quick cameo. Metal base, so get a lot for your money. All right. Took a look at those two. Let's get to, excuse me, a Greenlight real quick. So this is adding to my square Chevy castings. So this is becoming a little hot online. They're starting to go up in value and price right now because it looks like there was a lot of people wanted one. So this is just because I love these cars, and Wisconsin State Police livery is very handsome as well. So very happy to get this. This is their anniversary series, and we look on the back. Unlike some of their other series, they don't list the other cars that come out at the same time. It's just all about the vehicle in the package. So let's take a look. Very well done car. I didn't see any issues with it. Had a loose rear bumper, but it didn't fall off or anything like that. So let's take a look. Very nice looking car. Typical. All the Caprices, the tires are very large. They look good on the car, but they do rub the inner fenders. So they roll, but not perfectly. And it's been plaguing all of them. They're all like that. You'd have to raise the axle up a little bit in there and shim it, or you'd have to put just a smaller tire on it, or there are different ways of thinking about this. You can also just grind away the inside of that fender well, and you'll be okay as well. You can see that bumper came down. Let's get this on there again. So the pins, they don't use, from what I've seen mostly, they don't use glue. They just melt the post when they're putting the car together before they put the base on. That's usually how they do that. So typical. This is a 89 car, so I'll have the solid headlights in the front. this is chrome wheels now. The NYPD cars had the same wheel covers, but they were painted silver. So I think the chrome looks a little bit more realistic on this scale. It still needs a black wash, which I haven't applied yet. Because a lot of the cars I take out of the package, I will play with them a little bit in terms of maybe detailing a few of them, things like that. Because they are going in my collection. So, cool car. We've seen it before. Another thing of note, I like the light bar. I think that's it's called Jet Sonic. If memory serves me correctly, it's one of those iconic bars from the late 80s and 90s that were used on a lot of vehicles. It had a low profile for basically fuel economy and top speed. Light bars would, especially on highway cars, affect their performance. So they were always looking for lighting packages that didn't impede the vehicle's performance. I'll put it that way. So they had a lot of different solutions to that. Maybe not using lighting on the roof, or they would put just a small beacon light, things like that. But then they started to use these bars, and of course now the modern ones are almost hidden to a certain extent. So that was kind of the when it was starting to really change. Okay, let's take a look at an Auto World car. This is a MiJo exclusive, or MiJo, or whatever you want to say. I think it's called MiJo, but anyway, one of 3600. This is an Auto World. This is their highly anticipated square body. I have the black one. It's on its way. That's actually like one of 2,000 something, like one 2400. So that's a cool one. But let's take this out of the package. They solved the issue with using these wheels. They use the same rim width, unlike the regular production ones that use these wheels. I think they put the thicker one on the front and the narrow one on the rear. This one just has the same gauge. So they paid attention to that. This does come with a box. It's kind of a hybrid. So we have a clamshell, and then we have the old school window box. Very interesting. It's got full package details on this side as well. I have a Johnny Lightning address instead of an Auto World address. So let's take a look here. All right. Let's see. Excuse me. And blow my nose. Pardon me. I know that somebody, one of my older videos, I had a, because I went outside, it was cold out, and I don't have a cold or anything, but person really piped up about it. So, excuse me. So I'll blow my nose. Anyway, look at this vehicle. I love the color. Of course, I'm very partial to green. I've mentioned that in the past. Let's get it out of the box. Okay, I like how they have the window on the chassis too. So it's a cool box. Definitely going to keep this. I'm one for keeping packages. I'm a little nuts. I know some people throw them out. They put the car right on the shelf, or I know some people just buy these and put them away. They don't even put them out. Like, they buy so many vehicles that they'll display a lot, but a lot of them just go right into the closet or their storage. I think that's a shame. If I have that many cars, I need a bigger house or some other place to put them. But I couldn't imagine buying something and just putting it up, unless it was a duplicate, of course. All right. The wheels look great when they're not two-tone with the black. I like the chrome. I'm not going to wheel swap this one. These are elevated in price. I mean, you should be paying around $10, but they're upwards of $20 now, unfortunately. So it's always good. I always give a tip. I mean, a lot of you that watch the channel probably already doing this, but following the social media walls of all these companies and also other collectors, and supporting each other and things like that really helps get the word out. That way you can either pre-order a vehicle, trade with your fellow enthusiasts, or just, when the retailers, there's retailers that sell these relatively inexpensively, but you have to get them when they first come out. So if you're not aware of some of these releases, definitely try, either a person online that you like to follow that's into it, the cutting edge, or all the manufacturers have walls. Instagram's the fastest, and Facebook, things like that, I'd say. Other YouTubers. That way you won't miss out. So I saw this one coming down the pike. It was awesome. I kind of scoped out my usual places where I would find something like this for sale, and I found a good deal on it. It's good. Of course, it's got the same chassis. It's the four-wheel drive chassis that's been lowered. That hasn't been changed, but it uses the same rim sizes, front and back. So this again has a little bit of an issue where the front tires rub on the inner fender, but it's not too bad. A little wobble to the wheels, but it's a green on green truck. They got that darker green interior, two-tone. I believe this is a yeah, it's a 73, so it has the first gen grill on there. Of course, we have our Chevy block that hasn't changed in any of the releases so far. Nice deep engine bay. And we'll do a zoom in a minute. Just love the green. It's very, very high impact. Metallic. I've had this out in the sunlight. It's very, very bright. It's probably I'd say the most popping paint auto world truck I've seen, unless you have an ultra red or something like that. I mean, this is really, really awesome. The other one, the step side, is going to be a standard ride height truck. It's going to be step side short bed, flat black everywhere. Wheels, bumpers, everything would be flat black. It's not two-tone, so that'll be a cool truck. Probably next video I'll break that out when it gets here. Okay, let's take a zoom, see if there's any issues with this vehicle. I didn't notice any, but sometimes you'll notice something when I have the zoom going. Let's see here. Alright, so we got our Cheyenne 10. Very, very nice white paint. A lot of times the MiJo truck, exclusive vehicles, a little bit less of a production run. I see basically all the special editions I've seen, Greenlight included, seems like they're just a little cleaner than the regular production vehicles. The base is shiny. The bases haven't been this shiny on the other releases, so I thought that was nice too. And there's really no blemishes on this vehicle. No smudging. Got a lot of detail on this vehicle. Profile. You can see, looking down the body line, you can see how the bed is straight. It's not crooked. A lot of these vehicles, the bed is two pieces. And they either rivet the bed, and this goes with Greenlight too, to the cab, and then rivet it to the chassis, or they'll, like M2, the bed and cab fuse together, but then they get screwed together through the common point on the chassis or riveted. So Auto World is a little bit better than most. You can see the gap there. It's not crooked, so typically their beds are mounted the best. And then Greenlight, I'd say, is pretty good as well. You just have to sometimes correct them. So there's our grill. The headlights aren't off. Sometimes the headlights are off on some of the releases, especially the mainline type releases. Really cool truck. I'm very, very excited to have it. Of course, we got square bodies very piling up around here, but that's a good thing. That's a good thing. All right, so deep bed, of course, another great thing about. You can see the tailgate. Getting a little sidetracked here. I just love the detail. We've been through it before. All right, so there it is. No big major changes to this truck. Just it was well executed, I'd say. So we'll put it next to my previous one. And I'm getting the fancy graphic ones. They're coming. So we got the Spirit of 76, and then we got that Olympic edition, which I think was a Canadian vehicle that they're doing. If it's something what I was reading was correct. All right. Let's see if we can. There we go. Let that be your background for a second. Put this box back up. What are we going to look at? Okay, another Greenlight. This one I was able to find locally, and they were hard to find. I mean, they come out, and I guess they were doing 4 trucks. So we got a square body. We got an 86 Chevy M 1008, so it's a cut V truck. It's a military. It's plagued by having a low ride height, but that's all right. I'm probably going to put the off-road package on it from when I do an M2 wheel swap on it. It'll look more appropriate. I was trying to look these up and see if the fire department of New York used military surplus or if they bought them straight out from General Motors at the time, if it was open to them. It's kind of funny. They put a protector plate, which was, Greenlight doesn't always do that. And then I already assembled the trailer. So we'll take this out here real quick. Move this packaging aside. In a minute. Okay. So the graphics are great. This will go again with my, I have the dually truck, so it'll look good with that, and that's also a Chevy. So I got this one. So I like that. So that'll go good with that truck. Plastic, all plastic. This whole thing's plastic. I thought maybe it might have been some metal like the Hitch and Tow or the camper series that they do, but this is all plastic, just a metal base. This is my first small cargo utility trailer. It does have a flip down door. This is like those trailers that the door is also the ramp. So simple kind of construction, but it's well detailed. Thin tires. Very nice. It's good looking. They did the black over here. Yeah, let's get this in the frame a little bit. So we can see real quick that these are cool. I think it looks better as a emergency vehicle, like a police or fire department. I don't think I'll need any tire company ones or anything like that. And the truck, Greenlight's light bars is one of the highlights. So this small scale, they're using these light bars that are iconic for the 80s and 90s and 2000s really vehicles. They have the clear. I like the scaling on it. Looks very good. So ride height's really low. This really should be a 3/4 ton truck. Usually they're up higher. Of course, the space between the fenders would have been deeper. So we'll probably put a wheel and tire package on it. I'm probably going to do something like my Sierra, my High Sierra, which I've showed off before. So it'll probably have that, but with white wheels on it. So we'll get that done in short order. Just got to find some more time. And that'll get done. Cool graphics. I got the stripe package. The tailgate is done very good. It says hazmat operations. The bed is done straight because Greenlight has some very faint panel lines for the door. Kind of gets lost kind of in translation, unfortunately. But it's still a good looking truck. Still good looking. Of course, it adds to the square bodies. And I like the long beds. I've always liked them as well, especially in scale. Everybody makes the short bed, and it looks good. But it's nice to have the actual volume one represented as well. So, very cool. This will look good on the layout. We'll put this over here. We'll back this up a little bit by the Fury. Okay, what are we going to look at? Well, let's get to the Mini GT, and then we'll look at the surprise Johnny Lightning that I have. Very few vehicles that I buy are Johnny Lightning, but I did happen to get this because I like this one. All right, let's look at this. Supra and M3. Really awesome. So these are pictures of the car, real car, which I thought was interesting. Not the model. These boxes are great. These are made in China, but I don't know if it's a Chinese company. I can't remember. So again, like there's their, you can follow them there. And a lot of people post these vehicles on Instagram as well. So these are my first. Let's take a look. They are numbered. This one's a 41, so they have a box number too. That's kind of cool. All right. I also found some interesting things about these cars that was unique to them, and I'll show that off as well. So they come out like kind of like a They're cellophane wrapped, and then they have a little tray, kind of like that. No tape, but the cars came in perfect condition. Nice little thing. So especially if you have to move them around and stuff, you don't want them getting jacked up. Keep the box. So here's the M3, and we'll look at the Supra. Same way. Comes out the same way. Move that car over here. So pull it out. Packaging is great. Really ingenious. Supra surprised me too with a lot of different cool details. Alright, so let's look at the Toyota, and then we'll look at the Beamer. First thing that's unique to this that I saw was really cool. Hold on. Let's get this down a little bit. There we go. These are soft rubber. I thought that was great. So they're mirrors. They're really nicely to scale. You can see the size of it. It's perfect. It's not huge or in the wrong spot, but they're little pieces of rubber. Now you don't want to do that too much. It'll bake off, but very soft. And they return to the right location. It's not like you can bend them and they kind of go back to kind of this area where they go. So left-hand drive Supra. This came in straight 6. This is one of probably my favorite Supras they ever did. So 94, 93, 94, all the way to 02 in foreign markets. In the United States, only went to 96. And that was they changed their emission standards, so this car wasn't ready for a redesign. So it did not return until 2019, 2020. Car was gone. TSM does a really good job. There's only one wobbly wheel, and it's this one. But the rest of them are really nice. Now, the tires kind of are inside the rim slightly. Looks like these are hubcaps instead of being alloy wheels, but I'm going to fix that. I'm going to bring those out a little bit. Sand the rim, get the tire to fit closer, and then it'll look a lot better. But headlights, the detailing, the open grille, the weather strip detail, the windshield, how they do the black surround correctly, and the placement of the wipers, and they did the cowl right there where it's blacked out. I mean, the whole car is done very nicely. They got the rear defroster lines in the rear deck. Similar material on the wing, but it's a little bit harder plastic. It's not rubber. Single exhaust. It has those really cool taillights. This was a real great car. Larger than a small vehicle, but it's still smaller than a huge car, like a huge coupe was. It just had a great presence. What an awesome vehicle. Twin turbo car made just over 300 horsepower. That was, what was published. A lot of people, I think, say that it's stronger than that, but obviously with the tune and everything, they were very strong. But inline 6, one of the best drivetrains you could buy. The non-turbo had a 5-speed, and then the twin turbo had the 6-speed manual. And there was also a 4-speed automatic offered on this car. So just an awesome vehicle. Development on this vehicle started in the very late 80s, continued up until 93. So a lot of development. Beautiful shape. Had an independent rear suspension, so it wasn't a live axle. This car shared a lot of components with the Lexus SC, so the 300 and 400. A lot of components were shared, a lot of chassis development, subframe, rear suspension, that kind of stuff. Even though this was a smaller vehicle, different body, but a lot of platform similarities with the Lexus. So that's why it was kind of a larger car, which was cool. It made it unique. All right, so that's the Toyota. This is my first Supra too for the collection. I think I have I got the Hot Wheels one, but this is my first high dollar one, so very, very excited. Okay, another car that I love, done by TSM. This is an E30. This car, when they make these, from 86 to 91, the E30. So 4-cylinder stick shift vehicle, very high performance 4-cylinder twin cam. The body, there was very thick paint on this car, so when I saw pictures of it, it looked like it was getting washed out, kind of like what Greenlight is, and it's slightly like that, but not as bad as it appeared online, because when you're online it looked like this was just all white. There was no detail at all, so I was kind of wary of it. But the more I look at this car, the better I like it. The fine dish offset on the rims that BMW had back then is very, very well executed. You can see as I turn the model and you look at the dish of the rim, it's there. And that's how BMW was in the 80s and 90s. They had these rims, these spoke rims, and they had that slight dish. So TSM did that really good, and all the spokes are open. I didn't see any flashing in there, so you could see right down through the spokes. So really, really well done molding. And it has the rubber mirrors. I thought that was really cool. They have separate headlights. They painted a very nice silver. I hope other people use that silver. So it's almost a chrome silver they're using for the fog lights. Let's take a zoom. Hopefully other people will do it. Also, no smudging on the molding on the bumper. So very, very nice. Very crisp. Let's get this to go down a little bit. There we go. Get it up in the light. There's BMW on the hood. Done perfect. Very thick paint though. Very thick. There's our separate spoiler. A little smudging in there. I might have to clean that up a little bit. Some a little bit of dust. That does have the rear defroster lines as well. Black interior. Look at those wheels. Just awesome. And then we also have separate tail lights, separate exhaust. M3 badge is done good. All the colors of the tail lights are done in the right spot. So there's the M3 and the chassis. So metal base as well. So very excited to have that. Wasn't plastic. And the screw bottom, so you can take this thing apart. I probably will do that to play with it a little bit. And let's zoom in on the Toyota so we don't lose anything for you Toyota fans. So the taillights, Toyota badge. They made the rims in a 16 and a 17-inch wheel. Of course, the bigger ones were on the turbo. They actually had bigger brakes too. So definitely a wholesale upgrade from the normally aspirated one. But the normally aspirated was in the 200s for the straight six. So I mean, it wasn't bad. But they captured the shape of the car very good. I wonder if my you could see as a comparison. It's kind of curious. There's our Hot Wheels one. Hot Wheels is actually darn close to it, isn't it? So this is supposed to be 1/64 scale. Huh. So kind of funny. That's why you can model. You can't really give away too much to Hot Wheels. I mean, that's what I was saying. They're newer castings. They're good. They might not be always the same scale, but something that's supposed to be complete accurate, they're real close. It's kind of funny. All right. It's like a cartoon though, sort of, because they paint the headlights on this one. It's like a cartoon car versus a real car. All right. Let's take a look. We have one last vehicle. What do we got here? Let's park this like this. Put this Caprice here. There we go. This is a really neat car. This is one of 3716 Hawaiian Charger. And you can see right there under my thumb. First time they used this type of graphics for the Hawaiian car. It's a 1972 car, Charger funny car. So let's take a look. This is the last generation of the Charger before it reappeared to us in the 2000s. Well, actually, no, that's not true. We had the front wheel drive K car derived Charger, didn't we? All right, so let's open this up. I love the box art on this. It's chrome, and this is their 50th year doing licensed Johnny Lightning vehicles. Of course, ownership for Johnny Lightning has probably changed a lot of hands as most of you know, has been a few times it's been bought and sold. So this is in its latest iteration, and of course we're with round 2, which has been a very good brand custodian in my eyes. They've been doing very well. So this is their basic kind of Johnny Lightning car. Let's close the very stiff, extremely stiff. Doesn't even sit down. It's got the crimped back there, so very old school. Rubber wheels and tires. Got like a bead lock tire on there. Graphics are awesome. So this will be a great car with my other gassers and stuff like that. I do like the Hawaiian graphics, and he was a good winner. I think they took these cars on USO tours too. There's a drag racing in the 60s and 70s that helped all the people deployed, which is cool. They would do funny things. Ford had a clinic, and they put cars on the carrier and drag race them on the runway. They do all sorts of great stuff back then. Of course, those poor guys are out there too, fighting for us, so they needed something for their time other than a paycheck. All right. Awesome taillight. The graphics are great. I mean, it's not sloppy or anything. So, and again, with a funny car, it's not a factory vehicle, so I don't mind doing a lesser detailed Johnny Lightning type vehicle, because Johnny Lightning really was a Hot Wheels Matchbox type competitor when it was started, and a lot of the older castings are from a time when they still were trying to do detailed vehicles, but they were still kind of all over the place with scaling. This will look good on a flatbed, things like that. So, all sorts of cool stuff. And we got a very simple engine in there. Blown engine. Very interesting roll cage they got back there too for that guy. But it's cool. I mean, it's a really... I mean, they have the... Look at that. They did tape out the tires with the anniversary date, so it's a great addition. It's a real car die-caster's collector car, I'd say. But I also like the racing team and everything. He was cool. All right, we saw it all today, didn't we? We're gonna have more coming down. I think we're gonna do a 118 vehicle next, but this is a great addition to the collection. A lot of variety. Really enjoyed adding this. This has been out for a while, but I'm glad I got it. We added a couple more square bodies to the rig, to the collection. I got some really nice new cars, these TSMs, so those are really neat. So, or mini GT. What am I saying? Oh, TSM model. So we got a couple of things. That's why I'm thinking TSM. So we got these guys, and we get this. I think that's their line, but these are the people that make it. So there you go. All right. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for all the nice comments and your support of the channel. More to come. Hope you enjoyed it. Till next time.